Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you hear me at the back? Good afternoon, sir. Thank you. It's indeed my pleasure to be here this afternoon to address wonderful minds. This is my first time of being in Pan-African University. I actually thought it was in Lagos Business School, so I went to Lagos Business School. I was there just before 1, and the whole place was like a graveyard. I said, no, it's not possible. You can't have 3,000 students here and the place will be this quiet. So immediately I approached here, and it was very clear. I saw this young, handsome, beautiful lady. Okay, let's just start off, and let me say good afternoon once again to the faculty of Pan-African University, the Vice Chancellor Enase, who were in school together, in the university together actually, and his other siblings. And to also the dedicated team in the Mind to Mind initiative. Thank you all for the incredible work you do, and to the over 3,000 students of Pan-African University, more especially those who are here this afternoon. The future of this great nation, you are all sitting here today. This series actually is a very important one, and I will tell you why. I think the important thing is to look at what we all possess, that's the power of each and every one of us here, particularly the youths within what I would term the Nigerian narrative. When the Mind to Mind initiative actually approached me, I actually didn't hesitate, and you might ask why. It's actually because I believe in the core premise of the summit itself. Incidentally, the bank, which I'm the chairman, we had a similar summit just 2 weeks back. I'm sure some of you will have seen it. That's the FinTech Summit, somewhere in Victoria Island. Just 10 days back, and I'll tell you it was unimaginable. We'll probably get to that at some point. I've actually spent decades in consulting with Pricewaterhouse, the way it was called then. That's what you know as PwC now. It used to be Pricewaterhouse while I was there at least. And also the financial services industry, the bank specifically. I was just in one single bank for 20 years. And I would say that it's been very interesting to see the evolution of technology. From day one, how things keep evolving. But for the purpose of why we are here today, I would not want to just zero in on technology, on digital and all that. The key thing is, how do we develop our mindsets? How do we get ourselves prepared for not just the challenges, but the opportunities that the world presents? Because from what I can see, I was very happy. Who is the person that asked the MC about what exactly are you talking about? You talk about the theme of the conference itself. Who asked the MC question? The person is not here. I have something for you, but if you are not showing up, just be silent. But I think why I want to focus on that is because I want us to appreciate the fact that success in itself is not a destination. It's actually a disciplined process. And I think, to me, it is built on 4 pillars that are very critical, whether it's a startup, whether it's a multinational company, or a medium-sized company. You require these 4 pillars to be successful. And the 4 are education, strategic thinking, resilience, and ethical leadership. And I've started to focus on this because if you have all these ingredients, the others are more like add-ons. Whether it's technology, it could be any field at all. Whether it's digital, selling, marketing, whatever it is, even in core sciences, you require these 4 pillars. Let me start with the first one, education. When I say education, I'm not necessarily talking about just formal education itself. I'm looking at an all-round holistic education. And I'm very happy that you are all here today. You have the opportunity, and that's why you're here. Not just about what you are doing in the classroom, your regular courses that you require to pass, but all these add-ons. And I really want to thank the Mind to Mind initiative for bringing this to your doorstep. You don't even have to leave the campus to have the privilege and the opportunity of this type of interaction. So thank you very much once again. So holistic education really focuses on the development of the whole person, extending beyond the traditional academic subjects. It aims to nurture a student's intellectual and cognitive development. Basically more of your academics, and you are getting that here, being in this prestigious university. It also helps to develop your critical thinking and problem-solving capabilities. Your emotional development, talking about self-awareness and resilience. That's something you might not necessarily learn in the classroom, but you also have the opportunity being in this type of environment to develop that. Also your social development, talking about communication, empathy, collaboration, leadership. Then your physical development too, your well-being. It's only in a very sound mind, in a sound body, that you can be talking about collaboration, talking about other initiatives. And also your appreciation for global issues and other cultural issues. This actually helps to create a balanced individual who is prepared for the complexities of life and fulfillment in a rapidly changing world. So for you to be successful, it's not a function of whether you have a first class, second class, or third class. You need an all-round education. I will always tell people that, look, if you are an exceptional, excellent student, it does not necessarily guarantee success. What guarantees success is that you are a complete student. That is what is very important. What is the use of having a first class? And I tell you, look, go out there and meet me in VI, and you don't even know how to navigate your way. That's not what education is about. You need all sides of this. And it's also good to excel in all. That really should be the ideal. But the important thing is to have a very good blend and a good balance. What exactly are the benefits of this holistic education? Personal development. It helps in developing your self-confidence and also self-esteem. Discovering and excelling in various activities helps you to build your self-confidence. Resilience. Learning to manage challenges in different situations also helps to foster mental toughness. Independence. It also encourages self-directed learning and decision making. And also lifelong learning too. It instills curiosity and a passion for exploring beyond the classroom. There are some people that cannot just, once you take them out of the classroom, they are like fish of water. So it's very important, this part we are talking about. Then also your academic and intellectual skills. That I'm sure we all appreciate, so I won't even dwell on that because we're already in an academic environment. But again, it's important to develop your critical thinking and also your ability to comprehend creativity and innovation. Social and emotional skills. These are also very important, particularly in the workplace. It's also very important. Communication and what we talk about, collaboration. Communication is exceedingly very, very key in life, whether it's in terms of the way we relate with others, the way we relate at work. These are the things that you require. Most of the people that I deal with today, I've known them for years in my early days in Transfer House. So when I got to the banking industry, it was very easy. It was because of that, the fact that I maintain those relationships, and don't joke with relationships. They are very important. And also collaboration. It's not just when you have need. Oh, I'm looking at this, you start looking at, oh, who am I going to talk to? Who am I going to partner with? No, you start from now. Those relationships you are building now, you never can tell when they will come in handy. And also preparation for the future. Holistic education helps you in terms of adaptability and your career readiness and your well-being. I've heard so many people talk about, oh, graduates of today, they are not good in our own time. I said, no, it's not true. I believe that the students of today have better exposure than our own time. That is actually what I strongly believe, because most of the things you are being exposed to today, we didn't have that opportunity. And I want to implore each and every one of you, don't lose any of those opportunities. I must confess, during my own time, too, in school, I probably was not very serious when it comes to taking advantage of all these things. I wasn't. So that is actually one of the things I would tell anyone. When you say come in here, I know how many people do we have here now? Out of 2,000, 3,000. I don't expect everybody to be in this hall. But some people like me then will have said, what am I coming here to? But it is very important. And it's in the future you will appreciate the fact that you just one, two things you will pick here, you never can tell where it will resonate. And that's why opportunities for non-academic activities, let's not joke with it. The higher you go in your life, in your career, you find out that there's a convergence. Irrespective of your course of study, there is actually a convergence, because what you are focusing on then, you are looking at things about critical thinking, decision making, just collaboration, partnerships, things like that of things you are looking at. Team building. You are not focusing on the hard stuff itself, but it's assumed that you already know all that, and you can get people that will do that. But the skills you require to do all these things, they are probably not in your core area, or what I would call your functional area, but there are some of these soft skills. And if you don't have that, it becomes a very big problem. And that's why leadership today, if you lack some of these ingredients, it will become a very, very big challenge. So the second pillar is actually strategic thinking. I would always say it's good for you to think big, but you must start from somewhere. When I say think big, I'm not saying just dreaming. That's not what I mean. Any of you can as well say to, oh, I want to acquire a Ferrari now. You know it's not possible. So that's just hallucinating. It's not even dreaming. You know it is not possible. But there are quite a number of things you can think about. If you look at most of the technological breakthroughs that we've had, I'm talking of over the past 20 years, there have been 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. When did Facebook start? Microsoft. When did they actually start? But when I think back now, I remember 1988, when I was doing my youth service, at the IBM in Nigeria then, Technology and Systems, we represented IBM. When we talk of, I was probably one of the few who had the opportunity to, or the privilege of working with, not necessarily laptops, but desktops. Laptops were not popular then, but desktops. And many people don't even know what you're talking about when you're talking about computers then in the 80s. They didn't even understand that. But the key thing is the opportunity of just having that. We had the Compaq, the Dells came in later and all that. But those are things that, when you now look at what is happening today, how many years am I talking about? The evolution. Things have really, really changed. And that's why all of us will have to start to dream very, very big. How can I make a difference? And that's really what happened. Facebook. When did Facebook start, Mark Zuckerberg? At age 18, when he left school, people will tell you, oh, he was a dropout. I said, no, that's not the definition of a dropout. A dropout is somebody who doesn't have the capacity, and you have to leave school. This guy said, no, I want to pursue my dream. That is not a dropout. He was super prepared. And that's why you can see what holistic education does. When we started the bank that I was the CEO, our London office, we had only one person who was a graduate. The others, they were not graduates, but they were very, very sound in those areas. And when you talk to them, you will be amazed in terms of, these are people who you will say they have holistic education. They will start changing things, mixing, bringing younger people, and you can see a difference. And why am I saying this? Is the fact that you need to expand your horizon. And that's what will make a difference between you and so. Imagine the number of universities we have in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, and you are all competing for this space. What will make the difference is those that have all those capabilities that I've talked about before. The academic exposure is there. You are talking about that emotional balance is there, your emotional awareness, and all the other soft skills, your communication skills. When you put all this together, there's no way you will not stand out. People will be wondering, is it not the same graduate I'm talking about? And those are the things that you need. How can I make that difference? And that's what is important. That's what we're going to talk about. Strategic thinking. You are looking beyond what it is now. And I think that's what will make the difference. I was talking about the FinTech Summit we had 2 weeks ago. Where did all these FinTech companies start? How many years ago? About 2017, 2018. Before, all we had were the traditional banks. And what was the reaction then? I was in the banking industry then. Most of my colleagues who were also CEOs said, oh, we're going to fight them. That was the mindset. We're going to fight all these FinTechs. And what did you see? Some banks started setting up their own FinTech companies to fight all the other independent FinTechs. Let me put it that way. You have the OPay, the Flutterwave, MoneyPoint, all of them. They said, no, I will fight them. And I looked at that time, I said, what is there to fight? There's nothing to fight. What is important is collaboration. And I said, no, we're not going to start any FinTech company. I had those proposals, let's start it. I said, no. We can collaborate and have a win-win with these companies. And that's what we did. And my new institution, Globus Bank, we did the same thing, and that's why we said, let us have a FinTech Summit. Bring them together. What can we do together? Whether you're a FinTech or not, you still need a bank for your settlement. So why can't the bank stay on that lane and let the FinTech move along the other lane? And what did our FinTech, what did they do basically? Payments. And I tell you today, I'm talking of figures from NISS, Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, who coordinate all these payments in the country. Fintechs control 51% of payments in Nigeria today. And who are their preferred banks? It's Globus Bank. Right. That's a bank that is just going to be 6 years in a month's time. And it is not by chance, it is not by luck, it is strategic thinking. You position yourself, what do I want? What are you fighting when you can actually expand that space? Or as they say in negotiation, expand the pie. That's really what it is. With all the volume the fintechs are moving, it has not diminished what the banks are doing. So what is happening is we are basically expanding the horizon, expanding the pie. There are some people that play tennis, that, you know. I tell all these ball boys and the people I play with, if you don't have an account with Globus Bank, you are not going to pick any balls. But by the time you get there, I go after some time. By the time I get back home, I want to pay you, give me your bank account. He said, it's a different ball. He said, no, I'm using whether it's OPay or money control. Why are they doing that? So let me even sit down and hear from these young boys. These are talking of people who are 16, 17 years old. And for my time, number one, in terms of what are you being charged, is zero. There's something like COT or you can account maintenance fee or whatever. And in terms of the flexibility, why do you think they have an advantage? It's because that is all they are focused on. Unlike a traditional bank, they're focused on so many things. The bureaucracy, before you do this, you have to go to this committee, that committee, that committee. You know you already have that baggage. Why not allow those people, let them innovate, collaborate with them, and you have a win-win. And that's what we're doing now. So it just shows you the power of strategic thinking and also collaboration, which is what we're talking about today. When I started, I was not very clear what I wanted to do. I read engineering, fine, but I was very clear in my mind that, look, I don't think this was, I'm actually cut out to be an engineer. That is. I enjoyed every bit of it, because math is good and the other subjects that we do. My strength was actually in the classroom. I enjoy what we do in the classroom. But when it gets to the practical part of it, I never liked it. Maybe because we go there in the afternoon, I just never liked the whole engineering practice. And when I left school, my youth service at technology and system was to work as a computer engineer. Yes, I was flowing along, but I said, look, this is not really what I think I really want. I like the corporate life and all, you know, and also the consulting. And I could see from afar, there were not too many of them. It was just PwC and Arthur Andersen there. And I said, look, this. But one thing that I know, reflecting now, is that I worked very hard. Whether you say this or not, I was like a regular, work, and I had very good exposure. The first wide area network in 1988, I was actually involved. When I said wide area network, connecting banks, all your branches where you can communicate, even if you wouldn't even appreciate, you probably think we've had it over the years. No. As at that time, branches were on a standalone. If you want to clear your check, then within Lagos, it takes 5 days. If you want to pay somebody outside Lagos, it's 21 days. Many of you never, I'm sure you never heard of that. It takes 21 days. That's what they call up-country clearing. The local was fine, but you can imagine now, it's a matter of seconds. In fact, as you are paying, someone is asking you, oh, where is it the receipt or the alert or something? So we can see how things change. But the important thing is to be very clear as to what we want to do. One thing I must tell you is like, some people are very clear as to what they want to do and they appreciate that early. Someone like me, I wasn't very sure of that until I started my career and it became very clear. I loved what I was doing. I didn't know much about it, But what I know is that I worked very hard and I enjoyed it. We go to work very early in the morning, and the excitement was there because we are all young people that they brought together then, and we were working mainly with expatriates. So there was that joy. You just want to go to work, and I would say it actually helped. So if you are not sure exactly what do I want as a career, don't be bothered. Don't. Or you are panicking. No, not necessarily. Just have an open mind. What are you being trained for here? Is for you to have that openness. You can have that, you can think critically, not just in that narrow box. No, you have an open mind. You can discuss any topic and you are comfortable discussing so many subjects. It's very important. Very, very important. When you're talking about networking, I'm talking of you are networking with people. These are the type of things that help you. That you can see things of a very wide perspective. You will make very meaningful connections across borders. What some people in some places call small talks, small chats. They are very important, but if you are just there, you can't discuss anything apart from microbiology or biochemistry. You won't go too far, that's the point. You must have the capacity for those small talks. You are at a conference, or wherever you see, you can't discuss anything beyond that your narrow subject, you will not go too far. So you need to have and try to open your mind. Read very widely and broadly and show a lot of interest in so many subjects. What are these subjects? Imagine the time you spend, people send so many messages on WhatsApp. Meaningless messages that don't even make sense. And once you start, you might spend half of your day, if you take stock, the time you are spending. Why not fill your mind with constructive things? Things that will position you better. Things that will put you at the forefront and let you appreciate what exactly is happening in the world. Where is the world going? The guy, the MD of Flutterwave, who was at the conference, and I was asking him, what motivated you to even say, look, let us start? He told me, said, look, we were all in the bank together, junior officer then. When I say junior, like a managerial level person. And he said, look, he was bored and he felt that there is a lot he can do. And that's why I said, look, let him take that risk in that payment space. And you can see what is happening today. These are people that move billions. I'm talking about over 100 billion in one day, to show you the type of payments that happen in Nigeria today. So, and the only way you can do that is that openness and just be ready. It's important for us to set ourselves and ask questions, particularly now that we are all in university. Maximum for some of you, next year you will leave, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you will leave. What do I really want to do? Paid employment? Start a business? What type of business do you really want to start? But in all this, what is important is, what are the skills that I have? What are the competencies that I have? When you look at all that, and that's when you find out that, oh, it's not just the fact that I read engineering. So people will ask me, oh, you read it, you're an engineer, how come you're in the bank and all that? I said, look, that's just my academic whatever. I don't look at myself as an engineer, but I enjoyed it, and if I'm going to do it, I will do the same thing again. But you need to look at, well, what do I have the passion for? Where is my passion? It's very, very important, and not just talking about the core. Then you now look at what gap in the market am I trying to fill? For those of you who want to be entrepreneurs, there must be a gap you are looking at filling. You can see the payment space, what has happened. You see what has happened, that it is now a limitless opportunity. Even within that payment space, when you hear of fintech, there are 1,001 things that they do. They all do different things. But the common thing is that they facilitate payments in different ways and in different forms. So you yourself must identify what gap am I looking at filling in that particular space. Or what type of product am I even looking at, or services that are not there today that I want to fill that gap, or they are there today but I know I can make a difference. How did all the banks we have today, I'm talking when I say today, most of these banks, the Zenith of this world, GT and Co., they actually started 1989, 1990. And I can tell you what was the edge that they have then. It's in terms of agility, they can move fast. What are the banks we had in those days? They are the government banks, First Bank, Union Bank, UBA, Afribank, all those type of banks that for you to be attended to. I'm sure there was an advert in those days where you see someone carrying a mask going to the bank to cash a check. But all those things they changed, and these banks, they took advantage of that look, we will do these things better. And you can see what happened today. If you are going to look at the top 3 banks today in Nigeria, those older ones are not even there, the 100-year-olds. They are not there. So it is all about innovation, trying to improve what you have in the market or to disrupt it completely. That is what one should be thinking about. And not necessarily about the big things. No, it's what will make that impact. And it happens in almost every field. Not just in technology, but today, that is the focus. And that's why I'm drawing examples from all that. So we've talked a lot about the fintechs and all that. So what does success even look to me? If I say I'm successful, what exactly is success that I'm talking about? You must be very clear in your mind too, what it is to you. For some people, it's like you have all the money in this world. For some people, it's like I'm making a mark. For some people, it's like I'm filling a gap in the market space. You have to actually define that. But what is important is to develop all those skills that we talked about in terms of that holistic education. Once you have that, it makes it more easier. Then the pillar 3 is the resilience. What I would say the Nigerian spirit is very important. Let's actually be, honest with ourselves. The journey to success is filled with a lot of challenges and obstacles. It is not a tea party at all, I can tell you. Whether you are running a business or your normal regular work, you will come and face challenges. But you must be very, very strong. You must be resilient. Failure should not be viewed as the opposite of success. It's actually a prerequisite. Look at it that in my journey, I will fail, but I have to keep moving. But if you take it that you failed and take it that, oh, I failed, then you will not go far. That should not be a hindrance at all. If it's anything, it should be the tonic that should drive you to success. In the financial world, they call it risk management, but in real life, it's actually resilience. That never say never. You keep moving. We as Nigerians, is that we have a unique brand of resilience. We operate and thrive despite volatile global markets and challenges. Infrastructural challenges, you can see broadband penetration is still very low, but we are still moving. And countless unpredictable factors. Sometimes when you look at the way we survive in the country, you just marvel. Some of my colleagues, some years ago, they came from Zenith Bank UK then, when I was the MD. And I went there for a meeting and they were chatting. Do you know what were they chatting about? They said in Nigeria that the roads are not marked, but people know how to drive on their lane. Now, how did they determine that? I was so that I never even noticed it, because it's like it's part of us. It's like just part of us. But in how many places can you do such a thing? But those are the resilience of Nigeria that we are operating under very, very difficult situations. We're having AC here now, I'm sure. You don't know about using lantern to read or candle. You still use that. You can't be in Pan-African University, no. Or Pan-Atlantic University, it's not possible. But people use that. Just to show you that we have numerous challenges. And all these challenges portend opportunities. They portend opportunities, and people have taken advantage of that. Look at all these Asians coming to Nigeria. Indians, Lebanese, do you think they are coming here for picnic or for tourism? No. It's because they've gone through all these challenges, they know what to do, they will make money. You will not see any of them who is standing on the road begging or whatever. No. They are doing one thing or the other and they are surviving. It's all about what are the gaps in the market. What products can I bring to the market? What service can I provide? And they will do well. Well, let me just say that in life we all make mistakes. And for me too, I've faced a lot of setbacks, But with resilience, really, the whole idea is not just about avoiding mistakes. If you are too cautious, of course you know the implication. You will not also go too far. Don't take stupid risks, but don't be scared to also take that leap. That is the only way. When you talk about breakthroughs, that is the only way. One of my bosses was telling me that I was our MD then. He said when he came back from the US and people were buying cars, his own friends were buying cars. He said, no, he doesn't want to buy a car now. What did he buy? He went and bought a dish. This microwave dish that you use for your cooking. You don't have it now. Before, I'm talking like a very old man now. If you can have NTA, NTA news, and that's what we have then. But if you want any of this foreign news, CNNs, and others, you need to buy that. The dish is like half of this room. Yeah, very, very mighty by ZMFP, they call them there. One Lebanese company. So he bought that dish. Why did you buy? Why you should buy a car? And he said no. He wanted to be informed, to know what's happening in the world, and that's why he bought that dish. And it paid off. And I'm talking of the founder of Zenith Bank. That's what he did. So while your colleagues are looking at things that will amuse them and all that, he was enriching himself. He was reaching out to the world. And that's why we talk about multilateral. That's why I asked who asked the MC what's multilateral. What are you talking about? You are multilateral, really. Yeah, beyond multiple partnership. You are talking more about collaboration beyond borders, really. That's really what it is. And you can do it in so many ways. You can see somebody who was talking about how getting a dish to achieve that. 1996, I opened the branch on Awolowo Road, 51 Awolowo Road, Zenith Bank. I was a senior manager then. What did we do? That was when internet started in Nigeria, 1996. Before 1996, there was not like internet then. We had what do you call it? I think it was a laptop, a tabletop, where customers can come in to surf the net. Many banks didn't know what internet was at that time. But that was one of them coming, they will sit down, they will surf the net, then that was, if not even Google, that was Netscape Navigator, that was the search engine that was being used then. They finally got into extinction now. But it is all about mindset. And technology, whether you like it or not, it will continue to expand. It creates so many things. Is it convenience? Is it in healthcare? So many areas, and we should never shut our eyes to it, irrespective of your course of study. Let's take that active interest in anything technology, anything digital. That might be where you will end up after leaving Pan Atlantic University. Then let me say finally, let me look at the fourth pillar, which I think is also very, very important. And it's something you have to start now, and that's ethical conduct and leadership. And I was saying to you, that is probably the only currency that lasts. Unfortunately, we have it in very, very short supply in this part of the world. When we talk about, we don't even understand what it is. Is it who can you say you want to model in your leaders, political leaders? When the number of, look at it, so when people say people are even presenting fake certificates, you can't imagine what it is. But for me, it's not a surprise. And why am I saying that? In the bank today, and I'm not exaggerating, not less than 6 to 7% of, what do you call this, the certificates, they are forged. There are people who want to gain employment. I'm not talking of 1%, I'm talking of between 5 and 7%. Then at some point, we go to the registrar's office to verify the authenticity of these certificates after your aptitude test. And what happened? You get some people who forged theirs. Then they started going to plant people in those registrar's office. That's what they were doing. So if you go there, they will confirm it that it's true. This person passed through the university. We have to introduce clearance from the department. And that's why we're catching some people. So you have to look at 2 points. So you can imagine an environment where, when I started my career, until I left in first hours, they never asked me for my certificate. They did not. They never asked me for my certificate. I wrote my application, I submitted, I made a 2-1, that was all. I did not submit anything. Based on, nobody will come and tell lies. That was just it. But you can imagine now. So when you say a senator, a minister forged a certificate, why would I be surprised? Because if the banks can apprehend 5, 6, 7%, what of the telcos? What of the ones that will go undetected? There are people that will come and be your leaders. They will be ministers, they will be presidents, they will be all sorts. What do you expect? When you say a minister of science and technology, and you have a degree in microbiology and biochemistry at the same time, it becomes a problem. So I think it is important that in a world where trust is easily broken, your integrity is the only asset that you truly appreciate over time. And it will help you, and I can tell you that it will help you. I've come across so many situations in the bank. So many. One of the first that I came across, when I was preparing for my ICANN exams then, there was a bank I was on an assignment from Pastor House. We were doing their audits. I wanted to study at Unilag, then they stole my car. I came out of the library and it was like a mirage, gone. So, how do I even get home? I'm talking of going back to Festac from what's it called? From Akoka. But again, that's not even the issue. So this bank, I got there, and they somehow they got to know. They say, "Oh, look at what happened to this guy," and blah 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 blah. They offered me a car that they will drop me at home and bring me back. I said, "No, it's not possible, but we are not allowed to do that. That's completely against." The bank is extinct now, so that end of people mentioning their name, they are gone. But it was very clear. I didn't even understand what they were trying to do until much later. that I was more mature, that I could think through some of those things. You have to appreciate what is right and what is wrong. Unfortunately, that's a bigger problem we have now, that we've even lost our sense of what is right and what is wrong. People don't even know what is right and what is wrong. And that's the dilemma of our society today. So I think it's important that doing the right things and doing it consistently is very, very important. It also means respect for moral principles, values, the dignity and the rights of others. It also means keeping your word, even when it is not convenient. Because from small things that it develops into bigger things. It means fairness in our dealings with others. It means taking responsibility when things go wrong, not just when they go right. It means using your power and position to lift others, not just to elevate yourself. This is the only way to build the strong, sustainable institutions that Nigeria needs. You are not just the career for yourself, I must tell you, you are laying the foundation for the next generation. What is important and what I will admonish each and every one of us here is to choose the path of honor. Build your career not on a fleeting gains, but on unshakable principles. What is, by way of closing remarks, your call to action? As they say, people say you are leaders of tomorrow. I don't buy that. Your time is now. Your time is now, because leadership is not about just political leadership or corporate leadership. At every stage in our life, that is, you can exercise that leadership. You can exercise strong ethical values. If Facebook can start at the age of 18, what are you talking about tomorrow for? No. Why are you talking about tomorrow? Gowon was the head of state of Nigeria at age 29. He led this country. So what are we talking about? Look at the history of Google, Yahoo, all of them. How old were they? So let no one be talking about you are leaders of tomorrow. It must start today. Those same strong values, focus on them. You start building them from today. It's not a tea party. It will inconvenience you. There will be temptations, but you should shut your eyes to them. So you are not just leaders of tomorrow, you are actually leaders of today, who are preparing to take the helm of affairs. The journey ahead, your journey, demands holistic education, strategic focus, unyielding resilience, and a commitment to integrity. Look around you. You are in a room with, we say, over 400 bright future leaders. Your next co-founder might actually be in this room. And that's the power of collaboration that we talk about. At the beginning, you don't know who's going to be your co-founder. Your next mentor might even be here. The next great idea for Nigeria is waiting to be sparked between the collaborations that you are forging this afternoon. My final message is simple. Take charge of your narrative. Don't wait for permission. Nobody will permit you. Don't wait for the perfect environment. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start building. Start learning. And start leading with character and courage. The future of Nigeria is not a hope. It is a mandate that rests with all of us. Go forth, be deliberate, be resilient, and lead with honor. Thank you all.
Please, a standing ovation for Mr. Peter Amando, Board Chairman, Global Bank. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Please, let's all be seated. Wow, that was a very insightful session. I'm sure so many people have questions, right? Are there hands? Any hands? Any questions? Okay. Before any questions, anyways, I'll share what resonated within me the most. So, sir, you mentioned something. You said at some point you were even confused on maybe what to do with, like maybe your future, what you were going to do as per maybe career-wise or professional-wise. And when you mentioned that, it really resonated within me because so many of us here genuinely do not know what we are going to do next after we get our degrees. And I know that sometimes they make you feel like, oh, I'm not prepared, I don't know what to do, but it's fine. If the board chairman of Global Bank was like that before, and he's like this now, then we are good. A round of applause, please. Then we are good, we are definitely good. So before the panel discussion kicks off, I'm asking again, any questions for Mr. Peter? Okay, one hand. I can only allow 3 because there's a whole panel session. Okay, 2, 3, green. You want a green sweater? Okay. So please let's just ask the questions quickly.
Thank you very much, sir, for a very insightful session, resilience. And it sounds really great in theory, but in practice, it is hard to stay motivated after repeated failures. And as someone who aspires to build a career in the entertainment and sports industry, both of which are very male-dominated spaces, what practical habits or mindsets would you recommend for staying resilient and focused when the environment feels discouraging or limiting?
Good afternoon. So my question is, you mentioned that you studied engineering, so your background was in engineering, but then you moved into the financial sector. So I want to know what exactly you did in order to move to the financial sector. Did you do a master's in something in finance? Did you take any courses? Or did you just go with like your own personal experiences? So what exactly, like, what was the backing that you had to give you the confidence to move into finance?
So I want to ask, what have I heard from, sorry, what you said, sorry. Okay, you said many young professionals are multi-talented, but like easily distracted. So how can we build focus and be strategic and clarify why explaining our multi-talents? Like, I don't know that. Yeah, I'm sorry, I also have another question. Okay, and I wanted to ask, this one was actually like really serious. What moral principle or value guided shaped your journey, like to becoming what you are now? Like, I want to know, like, the main, yeah, I know you're being, sometimes morals are not only thoughts, like sometimes we actually lived through it. I'm so sorry. But like, yeah, so like I want to know what actually like within your journey of life of your like you now, like your main just a lesson, like your main thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. I will just the first question on resilience, when the environment is very discouraging and challenging. Okay, I talked about it is true that the environment is challenging, but I will tell you that one positive you should take is within that same challenging environment, we have success stories. I just talked to you about the fintechs, quite a lot of them. But mind you, it's not everyone that will be successful. And that's why I talk about those, you must be prepared, those 4 pillars. Some people say they want to be entrepreneurs. And when you talk to them, let me just say, out of 10 people that I talk to, you find out that some of them might have good ideas, but no focus. Maybe just 2 understand what they're even talking about. When somebody approaches you, what can we do together? I would say you are wasting my time. What are you asking, what can we do together? You should become, what specific are you talking about? And I would say don't be discouraged by the environment that is very discouraging, or you lose hope because of that. We have our challenges and it's there everywhere. These ones might be unique and it will be very, very frustrating, but take the positive that others are still making it happen. And sometimes those challenges also create the opportunity. Because if they are not there, there might be no opportunity to innovate. Look at all the power panels we have, all those people are coming up with some of those. If you have regular electricity supply, maybe it should not be a major priority. It might not be. People are very, because of renewable energy now, yes. But the key thing is that don't give up because the environment is tough. No, don't give up. Always try to think deeply, expand your horizon. Don't keep on doing the same thing that is leading to your failure. Because when you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, why do you think it will now change? You understand? Also, be flexible. Look at things very well. Open your mind. It's very important. Open your mind, and I'm sure you start looking at other ideas. How do I tweak my strategy? That will help. But don't just stick to the same thing you've been doing, and you think you'll get a different outcome. Not necessarily, you might not get that. So that will be my advice on that. On transition, I think that's very common now. And that's why I think don't focus on just your academic study. When I talk about holistic education, it's about an all-round education. Look at the bits that I talked about. You have to develop yourself across all that strata in terms of your emotional education itself, your well-being. You can also have an open mind. You must read wide. That exposure. When you have the holistic education, the communication skills, those are things that we are all talking about. Collaboration, once you have those capacity, it will stand you out of so many people, of all the crowd. So the transition is not even a big deal. It's about what do I want to do. I said it before that I did well in engineering. If you look at my qualification, you say, oh, this guy is a superstar. But I know that I'm not an engineer by whatever it is. When I saw some of my colleagues that I beat in class, better result. When you see them in the lab, what they are doing, I would even be scared. I said, look, I'm not cut out for this, and I know that I wasn't cut out for it. And I just followed where I was not too sure. I wasn't confused, but I wasn't sure what I wanted. That's what it is. But whatever it is, anything I do, I work very hard. Anything I do, I wasn't clear. What do I really want to do? And that's why I advise that if you're not sure what you want to do when you leave school, don't panic. Some people realize it early in life, some late in life. But the key thing is be very open. Whatever you find yourself doing, do it. Work very hard with an open mind and the capacity to want to learn. I think that will make a difference. Then talk about being multi-talented, distraction, you have so many things. I think it's important to be very focused. You might have so many skills, you cannot pursue 10 rabbits at the same time. You will lose the 10 of them. What exactly are you looking at? You can't be everything. You want to be a musician, you want to act, you want to be a theater practitioner. You can't do all. What is my passion? What is my calling? There are all those other ethical issues. Those challenges are there, but for me, it's later in life sometimes when you reflect. What is my own staying power on these issues? I've done a lot of wrong things, bad things. What a typical youth will do for a very long time. Sometimes when I'm not asking that, why is it that I never crossed a particular boundary? I would say it's my Christian faith. There is nothing else. And I finally didn't realize that. It's actually my Christian faith that because sometimes you have that within you and you didn't know. I'll give you an example. When I finished my secondary school, a cousin of mine came and went to see one of our older cousins in Unilag there. Then we got there and we went to Marine Hall. I didn't know something that know Unilag. And we went there, we saw this guy brought out marijuana and he was smoking there. It was that summer break. 3 of us were there. My cousin that we went together also, joined me. Then we were going home. When we got downstairs, he couldn't drive, like his head was turning. I had to drive. I didn't know how to drive well. I drove from Akoka to Festac. But I did not touch anything. So I lived in the hospital. I got to later I asked him, why did you do it? Why did you say that you didn't want the guy to feel embarrassed that he was smoking alone? You can see how we influence each other. Then I asked myself, and everybody I asked me, why did I not join them? I said I didn't know, but I was just not attracted. It wasn't an issue for me. And it was later I realized, actually, it's my Christian faith, which was very strong in my home too. That I would say was happening. I know that I have friends who smoke, who drink. I go out with, I mix with everybody. But I know that I should not cross a particular bound. There's nothing wrong in having fun. There's really nothing wrong with that. But it's important to know that you must not cross a particular line. And it helps. Because when you get to work, you will face challenges. I faced a lot in the industry too. People will come to influence you with so many things. But you must be able to know what you stand for. And when you do that, it will last. And people will believe in you. When we started Global Bank, how would I go and face people that you've been collecting money from to come and do? They won't listen to you. So it's important that those are ethical issues. Understanding what exactly, truth is constant. It can't be this or that. It is whether it is true or it is not true, whether it is right or it is not right. Just walk towards it. Walk towards, and it's a journey, it's not a destination. As I'm talking to you now, I have my own struggles. And it happens to everyone. We should continue that journey. That's what I will say to that. But just know that you must stand for the right thing at all times. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Another applause. You guys know my style by now. I like claps. Okay, so we're about to play a video that will give you more insights on the Mind to Mind Hub and why this is a hot spot that you should invest in.
Nigeria's future.
Gentlemen, that is the Mind to Mind initiative. For our next speaker, I'm sure you watched him come in. I'm very honored. In fact, before I even introduce him, I'm really honored to be here and to host an event of this caliber because our speakers are powerhouses indeed. And with that, allow me to invite Pastor Itwa Ighodalo as he comes to give his own speech. But first of all, let's watch the video.
Ighodalo is a pastor, an accountant, a thinker, and a writer. He attended the King's College Lagos and the International School, University of Ibadan. He obtained a combined honors degree in economics and accounting in 1982 from the University of Rome, India, and also attended a business certification course at the Harvard Business School in 2011. He commenced his professional career in 1982 at Pricewaterhouse and later founded Ighodalo & Co., a professional public accounting firm, in January 1987. It merged together with 3 other firms in October 2004 to form CEO, a professional accounting firm providing audit, tax, and advisory services, leading indigenous and arguably the 5th largest accounting practice in Nigeria today. He is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and also of the Chartered Institute of Taxation. He's a member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, a member of the American Society of Industrial Security, and member of the American Institute of Management. He sits on the board of several companies, chairing some of them, among whom are the Mad Nigeria Limited, Elizabeth R. Trinicore, Tricontract, Capital Gates, Valency Agro Allied Limited, The Hub Limited, Trinity Leadership School. He also sits on the Pastor E.A. Adeboye Chair of Mathematics Board of UNILAG and a few others. Pastor Itwa is on the board of several charitable organizations and NGOs, including the Courage Education Foundation, Eden's Field Health Initiative, Itwa Ighodalo Foundation, and a few others. He is the publisher, editor-in-chief of the Timeless Media Group and the chairman and founder of Africa Leadership Group, which delivers the Nigeria Series, the Ghana Leadership Series, the Kenya Leadership Series, Fan, School of Leadership and Governance, Hope Alive, ALG Youth Engage. All these initiatives were born out of passion for good governance, accountability, equitable and judicious use of both human and natural resources, created to address the leadership dilemma on the African continent under the umbrella of the Tri-African Empowerment Foundation Limited. He has served on various government panels, both state, federal, and also served as advisory and consulting role at different levels to the government since 1991. He is presently the pastor in charge of Trinity House, a non-denominational free-flow Christian worship center, and was married to late Ibidunni Ighodalo, who till her passing was CEO of Elizabeth R., a leading event management company, and founder Ibidunni Ighodalo Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation, make welcome Pastor Itwa Olajide Ighodalo.
Amen. Praise the name of the Lord. Thank you so much for that welcome. But if that clap was for me, it was too much. But if it was for my Lord and Savior, it was not enough. Come on, put your hands together. Doing this, speaking every Sunday, 52 days, 52 weeks a year, and sometimes on Wednesdays, making me speak 104 times minimum every year. I'm tended to lead a praise and worship song. Should I do that? Yes. Glory be to. I see some of you go to church. Glory be to. Verses. For his mercies endure Amen.
If I should go forward a bit, where is I? Should I go and then you tell me where to stop?
Amen. His mercies endureth forever. And it is by his mercies that we are not consumed. Anybody who is alive and well today, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to be alive. It's a privilege to be well. And therefore, all you have is time. All you have in life is time. The greatest asset you have in life is time. The most valuable asset you have in life is time. So tell the person next to you, use your time wisely. Use your time wisely. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. And don't waste my time. And don't waste my time. I'm very, very happy to be here today. I want to thank my good friend, Mr. Amango, who's come all the way to give of himself to you. Please give a round of applause. Also, my daughter is here, Tomike. And we are going to be hearing from her later on. And there are all other speakers here. I don't know all their names, so forgive me. But I know my daughter's name. Amen. Next time you'll be my son. Then I will know your name easily. But I want to thank you all for coming out here and sharing part of your life with some of these people. I think a lot of people will gain some things here that will help them through their lifetime. Sometimes it might be just a word that you hear, and you carry that word, and that word keeps encouraging you till you get to the very, very top. I want to thank the organizers of this program, my daughter, Chinasa, Isaac, and thank you so much. As I sat in here, I looked around me, saw the content of what we're doing, and I realized that bit by bit, God is fulfilling Chinasa's dreams. You know, when she started this many years ago, it was a little bit fluid. There was really not so sure which direction it should go. But when I listened to Peter just now, and I look at all your faces, I think we're going in the right direction. One of the things that formal university education does not quite give you is opportunities to interact like this with people who have been there already. You know, many, many years ago, about 1981, 82 to be precise. How many people were born in 1981? Oh my goodness. Not even you, Tomika. My goodness. Victor, you are the ancient of days. 1981, I was sitting on this side of the room. And there were other people on this side of the room. I never thought that the day would come when we would exchange sides. You can be sure that Peter too was in the university at some time, and now you've exchanged sides. And very soon, a lot of you will be exchanging sides. I want to thank Chinasa's husband, Isaac, also Ngozi and Judith Rodriguez. Where's Judith? Oh, Judith, look at you. I didn't see you. Oh, God bless you. God bless you, Judith, and God strengthen you. I know you've been through a little bit of a patch. Right, one of my daughters is also here. Chelsea. Is Chelsea here? Chelsea Oguyemi, I hear it's her birthday tomorrow. Hey, Chelsea. I was there when Chelsea was born. And that's a fact. You can ask her, she'll tell you. She grew up in my hands. Her father and her parents are ministers in her church. All right, let me just say a few things very quickly and I'll take my seat. I'm not here to talk for too long. That was Peter's responsibility. My job here is just to encourage us a little bit and to give us a sort of direction. Our topic this afternoon is Youth Advancing Multilateral Cooperation through Technology and Partnerships. Advancing multilateral cooperation through technology and partnerships. And that title speaks a lot. It speaks a lot that now you are young, that's youth, you are young. The youth have the strength, they have the courage, they have the boldness, they have the energy, They have the daringness and the creativity to do a lot of things. And they have the freedom. By the time you're a little bit older, you're a little bit restricted. Yeah, that's better. You're a little bit restricted in the things that you can do. You have responsibilities, husband, wife, children, hopefully grandchildren. But when you are young, you have limitless boundaries. So you need the strength of the youth and the wisdom of the elderly. Advancing tells you that you will continue to make progress. You will continue to go forward. I can assure you that where you are is probably the least level you'll ever be. Hopefully, if you're in part 1 now, you go to part 2. If you're in part 2, you go to part 3. If you're in part 3, you graduate and go to youth corps. From youth corps, you go to finding a good career and a wonderful job. Okay? Aliko Dangote, the richest man in Africa, was once in the university hall like this. And he started from absolute zero. So you are going to make progress. Then cooperation. One thing is certain, you can't do everything alone. It's not possible. God didn't create the world that way. You are going to have to cooperate with people. To get me here today, it took the combined effort of about 3 or 4 of us. The first person was the person who invited me here. If they didn't invite me here, I would not come. So that's the first cooperation. The second cooperation was Olu, my chief of staff and assistant, who made sure that he got the dynamics of the place, what was going on there, what time I should arrive, and so on and so forth, and what you all were trying to achieve. So Olu made sure that we got here. In fact, we almost get into a way when Olu said, no, you need to turn around so I go back. You know, because what he told the driver was that went towards Ekwe, and the driver went towards Ekwe. So all of a sudden I saw the Ekwe bridge. I said, no, we have gone too far. So we came back. Number 3, the driver, Mr. Harry, fantastic driver. He's been driving me for almost 30 years. He knows everything. He knows almost everything about me and what I do and how I do, and he's a fantastic driver. I get into the car, I tell Harry, like Olu told him Ekwe, you will get to Ekwe. You should have just told him Pan-Atlantic, then he would have had a different course. But that was the best way to describe it to him. So it took a cooperation of people to get me here. You'd always cooperate, but we're hoping that your cooperation will go beyond the boundaries of Nigeria. It will be multilateral. It will involve people from other countries. And whether you believe it or not, there's cooperation going on with people from other countries. You know, as you sit here, what has brought you here is a cooperation of people from other countries. I can tell some of you that some of your shoes that you're wearing probably came from Italy, Rome, maybe they came from Senegal or somewhere like that. Somebody in Senegal or somebody in Rome put that shoe together so that somehow one day in Nigeria you'll be wearing it. The watch you're wearing probably was made in Switzerland or China or somewhere like that. Somebody in China put it together, not knowing where it was going, and it landed in your hands. So we're all cooperating multilaterally all over the place. And some of the things that is happening here going to benefit England, going to benefit some people in South Africa, going to benefit some people in America at some stage. So the world is a global village. And then we're talking about technology that you cannot do without, and all forms of partnership. So if you put all this together, you can paint a broad picture and a landscape of who you are, what you are trying to do, and where you are going. And therefore, this sort of conversation is very, very important so that it can set the tone for your future. But for me, I just have another 1 or 2 things to say, and I'll drop this microphone. One of the things that Peter said as he was answering those questions struck a chord in my mind. And he says that not everyone will be successful. And that is a fact. Not everyone will be successful. It's a fact. It's a truth. It's a fact. Not everyone will be successful. As a fact, sometimes you find children of the same parentage, from the same background, receiving the same training, eating the same food, sleeping in the same house, and one grows to be an outstanding success and another doesn't quite happen. It happened to my father and his brothers. They grew up in a village called Okaigbe. How many of you have been to Okaigbe before? Come to Okaigbe and see the world. Amen. It's a beautiful place. It's in Edo State. And as they were growing up, my grandfather decided to send some of his children to school. And my father wanted to go to school. My uncle, one of them, wanted to go to school. Another one found that he found himself in school. But one of my uncles was very mischievous. He didn't really want to go to school. And every day he would pretend to my grandfather that he was going to school. Then one day they called my grandfather and they said, come and look at your child that's supposed to be in school. And he went and he saw my uncle on top of the palm tree, tapping palm wine and enjoying himself, or maybe it was the palm kernel tree, I don't remember. He called him down, gave him a dirty slap, and the man almost went deaf and sent him back to school. But the guy didn't go to school. In his class was a man called Christopher Abebe, who decided that he wanted to go to school. After a few years, Abebe graduated, came to Lagos, worked with UAC, and my uncle stayed back in the village tapping palm wine. One day, poverty wanted to kill him, so he said to go and look for his friend Abebe, who he heard had become a big boy in Lagos. Came all the way from Okangbe to Lagos, an 8-hour journey thereabouts at that time, maybe even 2 days, because in those days you moved around in what they call Mami water bag vehicles. Got to Lagos, got to the gate of UAC, and he couldn't see his friend. They started off in the same class, but knowledge and education separated them completely. I don't know my uncle, I don't know his name, I don't know what he did, I don't know how he lived or died. But I know that there's a Christopher Abebe with lovely children, Abebe caught all over the place. You know, not everybody will succeed, but everybody can succeed. 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 Everybody will succeed. Everybody can succeed. Because you are created to succeed. Let everybody tell you that you cannot succeed. And be careful what you hear, what people say. Somebody hear what I'm saying? Don't let anybody discourage you with anything that they say. You know, they looked at me and said, you're the youngest child of your parents, you're not Jebota, just take life easy. And if I had done that, I'd probably be pushing trucks down. I didn't allow what they said to me to put me down. In fact, when I started my accounting practice in Pricewaterhouse, my interviewer looked at me down because I went there totally unprepared. I wore a pair of cardin t-shirt, jeans, and I was very casual. And he thought that the way I looked was how I was. The way you look is not how you are. He turned around and said, you're not going to be an accountant. And I said to myself in my mind, I reject it. I'm going to be an accountant. I almost did not become an accountant, but sheer determination pushed me through. Be careful what people tell you. You are going to succeed. And you must tell yourself every day that you wake up that I'm going to succeed. So say this after me. I am made to succeed. I am made to succeed. I can succeed. I can succeed. I'm on my way to success. I'm on my way to and I'm going to succeed. I am going to succeed. I didn't hear you. I am going to succeed. I didn't hear you. I am going to succeed. I didn't hear you one more time. I am going to succeed. It is called self-affirmation. And you must affirm yourself on a daily basis. What then are the 3-4 things you need very quickly to succeed? Number 1, you need God. You need God. You need God. There is a God out there that helps you in your pathway to success. What does that being called God do? Created you for something, you have to discover it, and it makes happen for you things that you cannot make happen for yourself. It makes happen for you things you cannot make happen for yourself. So you need to know this God and be committed to Him. Number 2, know what it takes to succeed. Know what it takes to succeed. You need skill, you need method, you need strategy, You need good behavior, you need discipline, you need vision, you need direction, and you need encouragement and motivation. Know what it takes to succeed. And discipline is a key to success. Skill or talent is not enough. A lot of people think that if they are talented, it's okay. But you need discipline to succeed. And discipline means being well discipled to do the right thing at the right time in the right environment. So if you need to be somewhere at 6 o'clock, make sure you are there at 6 o'clock. If you need to be addressed in a proper way, make sure that you are dressed in that proper way. Make sure that you are disciplined and you go through the discipline and the training to succeed. I don't know how many of you know a boxer called Muhammad Ali. When I was younger, he was the greatest boxer, 3 times world heavyweight champion. Young, smart, handsome, tall, strong. He says, I float like a butterfly, I sting like a bee. Your hands cannot hit what your eyes cannot see. He was a very, very great boxer. I said, I wake up every morning at 4 a.m. I run 22 miles. I do 100 push-ups. I spar with 4 people every day. I eat the right kinds of food. I stay off sex completely for at least 6 months every time I want to get into the boxing ring. It took a lot of discipline, but he got the rewards of discipline. Do you hear what I'm saying? Number 3, you must make sure, like Peter said, that you stay within your boundaries. There's some things that you must not break out of. There's some things that are total no. A lady came to see me yesterday, and she came because for the past 30-something years, I've been helping her brother, who is a drug addict. The brother is a drug addict, and even though they're children of means and wealth, this boy walks the streets of Marina in rubber slippers, goes around begging money every day. I provide his accommodation. I pay $42,000 every week to feed him and to make sure that he's okay, but he cannot help himself. Why? He's a drug addict, and he's going to be 70 years old next year. He's been a drug addict for the past 45 years, maybe even 55 years. He started taking drugs at age 15, and because of that, he was not able to make anything much of his life. Can somebody hear what I'm saying? So there are some boundaries that you must not go beyond. Alcohol, no. Addiction of any sort. Masturbation, pornography, and all that kind of nonsense. Drugs, totally out of the question. Corruption, 0. Pride, unnecessary. You must stay out of those things and make sure you work very hard. Know what you are best at and focus on it. Know what you are best at and focus on it. Somebody was saying that success does not consist of skill, capacity, or even luck. It consists of knowing how to do something well on a consistent basis. It consists of knowing how to do something well on a consistent basis, refusing to be discouraged. Walt Disney, they said he didn't have the skills to draw or to put things together, and yet he became the biggest animator the world ever saw. Failed many times, but he didn't stop at his failure. You are not going to stop at your failure. You are going to succeed. And I'll see you at the top.
Please, a standing ovation. A resounding, energetic, loud applause for Pastor Itua Ighodalo. Ladies and gentlemen, you can do better than this. You can keep it coming. Blow the roof off. Come on. Everybody can succeed. Everybody can what? Succeed. Everybody can succeed. Everybody can succeed. You guys are not gingering me now. Give me that ginger you gave to Pastor Itua. Everybody can succeed. Period. Clock it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I was just informed that we have visitors all the way from Ghana and Rwanda. So please, let's give a warm welcome to Samuel Yusuf, University Student Council President of the University of Ashanti, and Frank Kimei, Vice President of the Student Government at Kepler College, Rwanda. Please wave, let the crowd see you. We are happy you are here. All the way from Ghana and Rwanda, Kepler College and the University of Ashanti. Thank you for coming. Okay, it's about time we kick off with the panel session. Okay, so please, let's welcome to the stage the moderator of the panel session, Judith Rhodes Vivo. Okay, we have, as you can see, a very colorful, powerful selection of speakers here today. And there's a particular speaker I'm so excited to see, and I will hound her at the end of this event. But before that, so you guys can meet the speaker and you will know what I'm talking about. Please, let's play the speaker bios of all the panelists today.
Opeyemi Oriniowo is a result-oriented leader in trade and international development with expertise in evidence-based public policy research, advocacy, and implementation. With over a decade of experience, he has worked across the public, private, and non-profit sectors, facilitating partnerships, raising capital, coordinating research, and policy interventions with development objectives. Currently, he serves as a policy advisor on economic affairs and public diplomacy at the Consulate General of the Kingdom of Netherlands in Lagos, where he oversees the Netherlands-Nigerian portfolios on circular economy, public infrastructure, services, and creative industry. He plays a crucial role in analyzing economic developments, fostering bilateral trade, and supporting policy imputes between the Netherlands and Nigeria. Before this, he was the first director at the Nigerian Youth Futures Fund Secretariat, a $10 million fund put together by the MacArthur Foundation, Ford Foundation, and Lead Africa to respond to the critical need for effective youth engagement in social, political, and economic domains by providing resources, capacity building, and a platform for policy advocacy. In 2017, he founded Rindev Consulting as a research and development firm, providing the services of market intelligence and business development advisory, and program management in frontier markets. With a growing staff strength of 21 people and offices in Lagos, Abuja, and Adamawa, the firm has active portfolios in fintech. He is a fellow of the New Union for the Development of Green Economy Network, a member of the Nigerian Circular Economic Working Group, a member of the Lagos Water Partnership, co-founder of the youth-led and youth-focused non-profit, the Transformative Leadership and Development Initiative, and he sits on the advisory board of Secular Business Platform, Elect Hard, etc. He has been honored as one of the top voices in policy, research, and advocacy in Nigeria. He has a master's degree in international development from the University of Birmingham, United Kingdom. Opeyemi's expertise and contributions to public policy have been featured in leading media platforms such as The Economist, African Reports, AllAfrican.com, Premium Times, Vanguard, Business Day, Bizday, and Punch Newspaper. His commitment to sustainable development, youth and women empowerment continues to drive his impactful work across Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Opeyemi Oriniowo. accredited management consultant and certified John Maxwell trainer with over 2 decades of multifaceted experience across management consulting, banking, real estate, and edtech. He is renowned for his strategic vision and a proven track record in project management, business process re-engineering, and facilitative leadership. He has co-worked on projects involving global brands like Facebook, Google, IBM, and Sage Africa. He has also worked with at least 5 different states, several conglomerates, and NDAs. As the Chief Operating Officer of Pressbay NG, he co-leads a thriving edtech startup, demonstrating his commitment to youth development by providing accessible educational solutions. Gamaliel's passion for empowerment extends beyond his corporate circle. He has provided business advisory support to at least over 30,000 SMEs via special purpose vehicles like Daystar Business Academy, Tony Elumelu Foundation, British Council, Change Africa for Good Initiative, and a few others. He is a business developer service provider with Sweden. He is a regular commentator on the national media, radio, TV, and print media. Gamaliel was a speaker at the Blockchain and FinTech under Unbounded 2025, where he shared insights on the transformative impact of blockchain technology in the financial sector. He is a graduate of statistics from Yaba College of Technology and holds a mini MBA from Tekidia Institute. Gamaliel is a lifelong learner and committed to continuous personal and professional development, driving innovation and building the next generation of African leaders. He is widely traveled and unwinds by playing chess, reading, listening to music, traveling, research, and meeting new people. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Tanimomo Gamaliel. Adeoye is a Nigerian media executive, actor, and entrepreneur whose work bridges creative storytelling and strategic leadership across Africa's entertainment and innovation sector. With more than a decade of experience in television, brand partnerships, and creative business development, she has established a track record of delivering high-impact projects that elevate brands and engage diverse audiences across the continent. Tomika rose to public recognition through her acting and presenting roles, notably as Tonya on the popular television series Jennifer's Diary and a presenter on Ebony Live TV, where her professional poise and on-screen charisma earned broad industry respect. Building on that visibility, she has developed a versatile career that combines performance, brand strategy, and executive management, enabling her to operate effectively both in front of and behind the camera. As a brand collaborator and influencer, Tomika has partnered with leading global and African names including Meta, Junior Nigeria, Xiaomi Mobile, Investment One, and many more, helping these organizations strengthen market presence and cultivate authentic consumer engagement. Her approach centers on purposeful storytelling, data-informed audience insights, and creative activation that aligns brand promise with cultural relevance. In entrepreneurship and leadership, Tomika is the co-founder of Malia World, a luxury hair and beauty label, and serves as managing director and chief executive officer of Light Hill Studio, a Lagos-based creative production hub. In these capacities, she has overseen initiatives that prioritize operational excellence, creative innovation, and sustainable growth, while mentoring emerging talents and building teams capable of delivering large-scale productions and commercial partnerships. Tomika is recognized for her measured and strategic leadership style, combining business discipline with creative intuition, and for bringing integrity, clarity, and a collaborative spirit to every engagement. A sought-after speaker and host, she contributes informed perspective on media, brand strategy, and entrepreneurship across industry forums and events, consistently advocating for professionalism, innovation, and inclusive growth in Africa's creative economy. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome.
evening, everyone. Did you hear that lineup of facilitators that you have before you? Please stand up and celebrate them. Thank you very much. You may be seated. So I have prepared an introduction to this panel session, but I know that my panelists are in a haste to get back to where they came from. So we're just going to go straight into the question segment. I'm sure they will appreciate that. All right. So I'm going to first start with the lady on the panel today, because ladies first. Tomike, you built a brand that's both personal and powerful. In your journey, how have partnerships, whether with brands or communities, helped you scale your impact beyond entertainment?
Hi everyone. Hi family members. Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here today, with excellent men and distinguished individuals like this. So please put your hands together for them once again. It's an honor to be the only female panelist on this session. But speaking on partnerships and building brands, for me, authenticity is one thing that has stood out for me in brand building, and I know that some of my family members are here. Do I have family members that say, Kima? Basically, being strategic with the kind of partnerships that I, engage in is something that has helped build my brand and has helped my brand stand the test of time over the years. You can tell that from the brands that I work with, I genuinely love those brands. And so I carry their market on my head, and it's one thing that has also helped build my brand to what it is today. And I know many of you seated right here today are probably still in school, and you probably don't have many partnerships yet or brand collaborations yet. And even if you're like influencers or upcoming content creators, many of you are like, we don't even have the partnership yet. So we can't even still understand where you are speaking from. And that's why I want to, just take a few steps backward and tell you about yourself and your brand. So even before the partnerships come, my mom used to say, if you don't stand for anything, you would fall for everything. And that's one of the things that defined me growing up. So standing for something and saying, oh, even if I'm in this industry, I will stand for God. Like my papa, Pastor Itwa, who literally preached for us today. We're singing and shouting amen during the session. And that's to let you know that he's not just a pastor because he's a pastor. He lives it, he breathes it, like everywhere he goes, he carries Jesus along with him. And it shows in everything that he does today, and it's why he's successful and who he is today. So for me as well, standing for the right things in terms of morality, there's some challenges that you will not see me jump on. Trends are fun. I mean, I'm a content creator. We know that when you jump on this trend, it will help you bring the engagement and all of that. But for me, trends will always pass. And the thing that would remain at the end of the day is your brand. So what exactly is that brand standing for is really what defines me. There's some outfits you will never see me wear as a brand influencer, and it started from my mother, because there's some things that if my mother should catch me, she will flog me. So for me, it also helped me build the kind of person that I am and the brand that I represented, and that now attracted the right brands. So for you, even if you do not have the partnerships yet, understanding the kind of person that you are and living for it and that you are authentic, despite the fact that you don't even have brands that you are working with yet, would determine the kind of brands that will reach out to you at the end of the day. With these few points of mine, convince us. Please put your hands together for us. Thank you so much. Let's swiftly move to Mr. Opeyemi. Okay, so Mr. Opeyemi, you've led projects with global partners like USAID and Gates Foundation. What can young Nigerians learn about building trust and credibility in international development spaces?
Thank you. Yes, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
So let's take it back. I don't know how much, I know this is a private university, there is no Aluta, but let me do the style of great Nigerian students. Greatest Nigerian students. Great. Is inside of you. Is inside of you. So thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to join you guys, even if I was the first person here earlier than all of you. So those are some of the things, right? But it's fine. I think when it comes down to partnerships in the context of multilateral partnerships, I think it's important. 3 things are important that I would say. I think competence. I think everybody from Mr. Chairman, Mr. Peter from Globus Bank, Pastor Tua, and even Toby herself also has made reference to competence, right? Spotlights, substance over spotlights, right? There must be, it's easy to train, anything can make you train. The most ridiculous of things can even make you train. However, what would keep you the longest all would be substance, right? So I'll say competence. And in the context of multilateral conversations, issues like the SDGs, you need to find what you're passionate about. What exactly would be the cornerstone of your storytelling? Because everybody has a story, and you need to find a way to connect what exactly you're passionate about to your personal story and connecting it to what you have to offer. The second thing right now would be context, right? It's important right now for you to understand the Nigerian context. Really, because it comes down to, the United Nations can come here and say, oh, they are releasing this global framework in terms of how we guide education in the world. But as global as it is, you must make sure that your actions are grounded in the locality, what exactly is happening in Nigeria, right? So global outlook, local realities. These are key important things as far as dealing with multilateral organizations or even trying to build networks or partnerships in that regard. It's important to understand what is happening in the global context and how that relates to the Nigerian story, your personal story. I think those are inevitable things. I think competence and also ethics are so critical. Mr. Peter mentioned, ethics being lacking in this side of the world where anything goes. There's really no standards. People get away with everything. It's so hard to deal with artisans and just to be sure that, what you say you will do, you do. So it's important right now that you begin to build the kind of competence, capacity, and integrity that will keep you the long haul. Those would be my initial remarks. And like I said, substance over spotlights, right? You cannot chase fame first. There must be a reason why the world will come to you. When you develop the competence, the world will notice and come to you. So always make sure that, you have value that you're giving first. I mean, it's amazing to see what is happening in the world of content creation, and I'm happy about how much of a sector it has developed into in terms of being a multi-million-dollar sector. However, the people who are here for the long haul are those who indeed have something to offer, a clear value proposition, a clear value statement. There are things that can go wrong that will make those big brands not want to associate with you. That's why to make reference to the fact that she will not do, she will not wear. So you must be very careful about building your personal brand and what exactly it is right now you want to, be remembered for. Those would be my initial remarks.
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right, so quickly moving on, Mr. Olaoluwa. Press Pay Nigeria is solving a real problem, access to education. What inspired this mission and how was technology enabled you to build partnerships that drive real social change?
Okay, thank you for that question. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. So the journey for Press Pay is deeply personal. Some 32 years ago, I lost my father. And at that time, you don't need to cry. At the time, I gained admission into OAU. And because of that singular event, I lost that admission. But thank God we don't look like what we have passed through. And that's my dropout story. 20 million children out of school in Nigeria. And at the core of that is lack of funding. At Press Pay, we saw ambitious students whose academic journey is on the line, not necessarily because of lack of intellect, lack of drive, but primarily because of lack of funding. So we thought that rather than be part of the problem, we choose to be part of the solution. And then we came up with Press Pay. What we have done is to solve real life issues, and it aligns with the theme that says multilateral cooperation, leveraging on tech and partnerships. And this is our view. Technology is the engine that powers a solution, and partnership is the fuel that drives it. How do we use tech? We came up with a mobile app, which you all can access on your phones. And like the chairman has said, we all have a mobile phone. If you don't have a phone, we can go fund one for you. The question is, what are you doing with your mobile phone? Just like Tomike said, are you jumping on every trend? Or you're doing something meaningful? And that is what we did. On the leg of partnerships, we leverage technology again to build partnership with universities that have started to use our solutions. Number one, we have leveraged that to work with financial institutions and investors who have given us the capital, which we lend at single digit to students, and on and on. So the handshake between technology and partnerships is critical to advancing any of the SDGs. There are about 17 of them. So the question is, which one are you passionate about? Like my brother said. So you need to look at one, narrow down, and scale up with the right tech and the right partnership. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we're going to move back to Tomike. All right. In a world where we're driven by tech and trends, you actually touched upon it. How do you stay grounded in your values while still evolving with the digital space? All right, so you mentioned how you stay true to your values by remembering where you're from, but what other keys can you live with them? Especially speak to them at their age, because there are some vices, there are some things that are appealing to them. So what do you advise them to do to stay grounded to who they are, regardless of the trend?
I mean, it's very easy to get carried away by the things around you. Person that is literally a drug addict in his 70s and started 55 years ago, which is almost like the age that many of you are now. So the steps that you actually take now can and will determine your future. So knowing how powerful that is, and not just seeing yourself as just anybody, but seeing yourself in the light that you want to see yourself become in the next, say, 10 years or 20 years, you need to know that every single action you take now will determine what that tomorrow will be like. I started working when I was in university like you. I started working at the radio station. I was interning there from my year 2, and that was how my media journey actually began. And it started from sleepless nights. It didn't come easy. My mates would go to class 9 a.m. for lectures. I would have been at the radio station since 6 a.m. because I had to be on the show from 6 to 9 a.m. that my class was going to begin. And I wasn't even earning a dime, like it was free internship, and I did that from year 2 till my final year, till I left University of Lagos. I think I still even did it for a year after I left the University of Lagos. And that was a huge sacrifice. But for me, I was gaining experience. It wasn't about the fact that I wanted to earn from there. It was the opportunity to actually learn on the job. I didn't take any classes or any radio courses. I was studying microbiology, but I knew that I had a passion for media. And so I was doing it diligently for several years in uni. But what that gave birth to was actually my first TV job. And that also gave me TV experience, which was why I was very much prepared and ready when I got the opportunity to be a TV presenter at Ebony Live TV, which is also one of the things that skyrocketed my career at the end of the day. So the decisions that you make now will actually determine your tomorrow. And understanding now that, you know how we're just like, I want to be this, I will be that tomorrow. Forgetting that what you are doing now is actually going to determine if you are truly going to be that person that you want to be tomorrow. If I never took the internship opportunity at Unilag FM, I probably would be in the lab right now. You might not even be listening to me, listening to me for any reason. But knowing that I needed to divert into my media dreams, even despite the fact that I was studying microbiology. Like the lady who was hosting mentioned, many of you are here today and you're like, I want to get to where Pastor Ito has gotten to, I want to get to where Tomike has gotten to. But you don't understand that there was actually a process. One of the things I realized with the generation of now is you want to skip that process and you want to arrive at the end point, knowing that it is actually impossible impossible to skip the process. The process is part of what makes you grounded and ensures that you do not fall when you get to that end point that is actually your goal. So don't try to skip the process. You would intern, you would do a lot of free jobs. Some of you will be like, oh, I have my rate card. There are some people that say today I cannot send them my rate card. Not because I don't like money, but because I tell them those that my money is not in your hands. What is in your hand is greater than my money. So it's not really about the 10 naira that I want to collect today, because the truth is 10 naira will finish and you'll be looking for 100 naira tomorrow. So knowing that your values and the things that you actually learn along the way are greater than every single dime you can collect is actually the most important thing for you right now. And I don't want you to see yourself as little. You're actually a brand. You carry the grace of God with you. If you know it, there's a way I would walk into this place knowing that my father is the King of Kings. Imagine you're going to see the president and the president says, come at 2 o'clock. When you get there, tell them that you want to see your uncle, that your name is Bolale. The way you enter that presidential villa, knowing that the president has told you that when you get here, when they want to people say, sorry, well, I'm here to see my uncle. You know that kind of confidence that comes from knowing that people cannot bounce me, say I'm the niece or the nephew to the president. Now imagine knowing that you're actually the child of God, the King of Kings and the President of all presidents. If you have that understanding, you would move differently. Yes. It's why even when you have maybe like a carryover now, you will not go and jump into Third Mainland Bridge, because you know that it's just part of your passive phase. It's just part of the journey that God has destined that you will pass through. And you will know that this carryover today, I'm saying carryover, many people are laughing. I'm sure you are thinking that I cannot relate. Now let me tell you one thing that I probably never even shared in my journey. I had an extra semester. I almost died. Me, Tomike, extra semester. I wanted to run mad. And you know what my mom said to me? She was like, I feel like God is, because I never had an F in my, with the fact that I was juggling media and everything, I actually never had an F. The fact that I now had that F in my final year, it just felt to reduce my steals. But my mom said she also felt like God was trying to teach me a lesson. That lesson, I don't know if I've even learned it, but that was one of the things that actually carried me. But imagine how shameful it was that I was a star in school. First, I was the head of PR or something. Then I was already acting from my year 3 or so. And then I was on radio, I was on TV, and I had extra semester. It was very shameful. In short, till today, my bestie used to tease me that Ankara that you wore. Because I remember the day that I bought the final year Ankara, my mother said, you're wearing Ankara, forgetting that you're not even graduating with them. You're wearing final year Ankara. But I mean, it helped me become who I am today. It's part of my journey. And I did not die. Like my mother said, I don't know why I never had an F from year 2, year 3, year 4, and it was my final year that I now had the F. And second semester for that matter. But I don't know what God needed to maybe shield me from or keep me there from. Till today, it might not make sense to me. But understanding that every part of your journey is actually important to helping you become who you will become tomorrow would make you know that you will not take everything you are going through right now lightly. Tomorrow, if they tell me that I have event 6 a.m. in Ibadan, it's not hard for me to wake up at 4, and I love sleep. Nobody they sleep reach me in this life. But understanding that when I had to be on radio at 6 a.m., they don't want me where to still be sleeping at 5 o'clock. That diligence and all of those things that I learned, it wasn't easy, but it helped me become who I am today and the kind of values that I stand for and the things that I stand for. So I want you to actually say after me, I'm a star. I am a star. I'm a star. I am a star. Failure cannot define me. Failure cannot define me. Because I'm a huge success. Because I'm a huge success. And I pray that God will make you all successful in Jesus' name. Thank you so much. I have a question. How many of you here can do an internship for a year without getting paid? Be honest. Be very honest. Put up your hand very high if you can do it. Without getting a dime. Be honest with yourself. Alright, not that bad. Well done. Thank you so much, Tomike. Okay, we're going to move to Mr. Olaoluwa. Hi, please. Thank you. As someone who started with a bold idea and built a tech platform from scratch,
what advice would you give to students looking to collaborate meaningfully?
Okay, so talking about doing internship for 1 year, I'll talk to the organizers, Michelle can. Now, one of the things Mr. Peter said, thank you. One of the things Mr. Peter said was that think global, but implement local. Let me say that again. Think global, implement local. So our technology is not an off-the-shelf item we had to domesticate. We use data. Question is, what are you using your data for? OPEMI is into a lot of data. Data drives decisions. So when you see data like, this is what is trending, what does it mean? So 2050, Nigeria is going to have a population of about 500 million people. Question is, what do you see? Pampers, school, food, crime, as it were. So that's what we did. So number one, we built our solution and domesticated it. Number one. Number two is we built with empathy. Everything we did for mobile, and with the intention that everyone who is going to use that mobile must resonate with our solution. So it's not just about building tech. Yes, you have built this. Question is, are you solving a real life problem? Your pain, like Toby said, drives your purpose. Let me say that again. Your pain drives your purpose. So clearly, if you have not felt any pain, chances are that purpose is not clearly shaped in your mind. And that's what we did. So we looked at local content, we looked at technology, and we looked at complementary strength. Even God at some point in creation said, come, let us make man. So we have 3 co-founders at Presley. We have the CEO, myself, the Chief Operating Officer, and then the CTO. So that's how we do it. With technology and partnerships, we are scaling, and by the grace of God, we are now way to become the next unicorn. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so I move quickly to Mr. Opeyemi, and I have a question for you. As a policy advisor on economic affairs and diplomacy, how can young Nigerians position themselves to engage meaningfully in global conversations around technology and sustainability?
Right. Thank you very much. I think in a way we are echoing ourselves, but in different ways. But I think it's important that maybe there's something in communication, intensity and dosage. How often you need to hear something for it to stick. So I will try and wrap it up in 3 bullet points: capacity, curiosity, and contribution. Mr. Peter spoke about curiosity in terms of staying humble, making sure that you are teachable, you are learning well for everybody. By the way, did I add that I'm a student here? I'm a PhD student here, right? So I think just making sure, and it's not been difficult, it's not been easy, rather. So I can understand what you guys are going through, right? It's not been easy, but I think it's very worth the while. So, but if I can take time out of my own very crazy schedule and still find time to come here on Saturdays for lectures and sometimes online lectures, it means that learning is for life. And you don't have to even be doing a PhD to stay learning. But just to emphasize that need to stay humble and stay curious and remain teachable. Capacity is so important, and I think we kind of applaud that. I've been working in the development sector for over 13 years now. Raised capital in millions of dollars for non-profit organizations supporting people across multiple sectors. And I want to emphasize that global local thing. So I'll give you an example. In far back as I think 2013, 2014, I was working on the World Bank project on HIV/AIDS. It was healthcare related, right? And we're covering Ondo State and Ekiti State at the time. And just to emphasize, it's important for you to have your own, you have to understand your context and know how to push back. it is not everything that, at this level of learning, you should be able to interrogate everything that you read. It's not everything that is correct. In fact, there's a lot of missing link, right? To say that yes, whatever is written in the textbook that must have been written from somebody somewhere in France or Trinidad and Tobago, but how does it fit into the Nigerian context? How does it fit into PAU's context? So you must develop your own voice, find your voice in the midst of the noise or all of that echo going on. So I was back to my story. We had a project then, and to wrap up the project, we had done programming. Those two states had won states with the least amount of incidents of HIV/AIDS in Nigeria. And we had some money left to wrap up the project, and we thought, what can we do to give back to the community? And one of the sexual reproductive health managers had come to the management meeting and discovered that a lot of the females in the local communities at the time do not have access to sanitary pads, sanitary towels, right? So what they were doing at the time was that, it sounded very gory. They were using pieces of torn clothes, Ankara, those materials they've worn over the years, and they were not using it. That was what was, sanitary towels to them. And they were sitting in our aisles with our school, and we felt, oh wow, let's just talk to Buta Gambu, all of the manufacturers of sanitary pads, and let's flood this place with sanitary pads, right? And it made sense to us and the consultants on the table at the time. And it took one woman that was working on the team, she joins us to the communities, she cleans up the rooms, or if it's under the tree or community center that we meet, and said, well, if we decide to say, okay, we have this amount of money, and we go to Buta Gambu in Lagos and flood this place with sanitary towels, what happens after the project ends? What we've successfully done is that we've increased the taste buds of these people, right? By buying sanitary pads at 300, 400, 500. When we are dealing with communities that are way below poverty line, whereby after the end of that, our free sanitary pads are not able to maintain and continue to buy, right? So that was a big revelation for us to realize that even if we're in the development that have been studied in the four walls of universities across the world, right? But in the reality of those communities who were working, it did not make any sense. That was a bit depressing and was a watershed moment for me in my development journey. To say that a lot of instances you need to carry the context in which you are walking along. You need to be so entrenched in what is going on in your locality without losing focus of the global context. So what we ended up doing was that, okay, this is an income issue. For these women to be able to continue to afford sanitary pads, the intervention has to be designed around how to increase their purchasing power. How do we empower them so much so that they are able to make enough money and decide that, they can afford sanitary towels? So as opposed to flooding them with sanitary towels, we did an economic empowerment program, soap making, beat dyeing, this, that. And then also then said, yes, empower you to then start different interventions, right? Then for the process which what they were using at the time, we then accompanied it with a training that ensured that, what is the most hygienic way of doing this? So we got some doctors to come and then teach them around, how often you need to use this Ankara, torn pieces of Ankara, so to speak. You have to dry it, you have to wash it with certain type of liquid to ensure right now that you achieve the most hygienic standards, right? So it was a case of, in the realities of using torn pieces of Ankara as sanitary towels, ensuring that we're using it the best possible way as opposed to flooding. Do you understand the context of that story? Yes. So for us, it was a case of being grounded right now in local realities and ensuring right now that you're then able to and that report, I should emphasize that report got all the way to the highest level of World Bank in terms of programming. So the world has come to understand right now that we're not listening enough to the people. We are so out there in boardrooms making influential decisions. And voices of the people that matter the most are missing. So my charge to you right now is to find your voice. And your voice right now is in your locality. And the reason why I here in the first instance as in the university right now is to get plugged globally, right? To understand what's going on in the global context. So find a way to marry both. In that intersection, in the middle of that, is your purpose. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So now we're going to take 3 questions from the audience. The first 3 people to put up their hands get 1, 2, and 3. Yes. 1, 2, and yes, 1, please. Yes, stand up, please.
afternoon. My name is Mercy and I have a question for Tony Ken. So for those who aren't like influencers, how can we cultivate a recognizable and trustworthy personal brand in our everyday interactions?
How can you what?
Still cultivate a recognizable and trustworthy personal brand in our everyday interactions.
I'll tie it back to authenticity. You don't necessarily have to be an influencer for you to be authentic. And one of the good things that come from building a brand is that at the end of the day, you can accomplish several things from building that brand. So I can't see you. That's the one I'm speaking to. Thank you. Now I can see you. For example, you might want to start up a fashion brand tomorrow, a tech brand, whatever it is. Why would people care so much about that brand or that company? At times, it also comes from the kind of brands that the individuals that are behind the brand, and it makes you, have trust and faith in that brand. So that's where building a brand comes to play, and where it becomes very important that you build a trustworthy and an authentic brand. Because tomorrow, we never can tell what it is that you might decide to start up. But if you build a brand over the years, and building a brand it could come from sharing your stories on LinkedIn. It doesn't necessarily have to be on Instagram. If you don't want to be like a content creator or a brand influencer and all of that, or a skill maker, you could share stories on LinkedIn. Sir, you have blocked that again. Please don't block our brand. Uncle, help me shoot for this game. Let's have you this brand with. So all it comes from is literally sharing stories, sharing posts, sharing pictures. Some people don't like to show their faces. It's okay. You can type. There's X, there's Twitter, which I know that there are many savage individuals. They don't go on Twitter just to be savage. People are making money from that platform. So you can stand out and put quotes out. There's some people that put out quotes every week. And all it takes is for you to resonate with one other person. Like you see a quote that's, I'm going through this as well. Okay, or you share a story of how you navigated. Basically, social media is all about storytelling. And storytelling doesn't have to be something fake or something, I bought this, or I've achieved this, or I've accomplished this. It could be sharing your thoughts and feelings. And that's literally the baby steps into building a brand. And I believe once you build a brand, like every other thing would align, even you yourself, you will not notice that we're in your brand. Because you know the shaking that you saw before you build that. Thank you so much. The next person, someone else who took up 100, yes.
Hi everyone. Hi. So my name is Seva Balula and I'm an upcoming tech brand founder, and I'm working on this project called Impact AI Academy. And it basically focuses on teaching people in the rural communities how to use AI tools like Sora, ChatGPT, and so on. And I'm partnering with a Nigerian AI brand that have all the tools, and you can pay in Naira since I figured out that most AI tools have to pay in dollar. And we are a non-profit organization since we're mostly like impact driven. So now my question is, sorry, I have social anxiety. But my question is, how can I'm reaching out to investors, I've been getting no's, I've been replying my proposals, and I've even made an AI brand for Malia. And if you're interested in Mr. I can show you after.
Great.
So my question now is, how can I push this cause forward while maintaining the bills, because I'm not running at a loss, because it's mostly it's an NGO, it's not basically, it's like impact wise and everything. So how can I push this forward without shooting myself in the leg?
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Great approach first. You are a salesperson, and thank you for pitching yourself. So, because you're doing tech, there's something you call POC, proof of concept. You need to have a POC. And of course, perhaps you can talk to Okoyemi much after, since you are in that other state. But without a POC, no one is going to take you serious. And you must have a thick skin, like Mr. Peter spoke about resilience. Presspay is 4 years, and just very recently we got admitted as top 20 startups for Visa. Please, you can clap for us. We got encouraged as top 20 startups by the United Nations, and the list is endless. So don't aim for spotlight, aim for purpose.
Did you hear that?
Don't aim for spotlight, because spotlight will fade. Build with empathy. And I like what you're doing, particularly in the rural areas. So we can talk much more later, but you need to have a proof of concept. If you don't have a proof of concept, no one is going to give you money. I'm not just going to give you money because I like your face. There are 1,001 developers, perhaps doing what you're doing. Our question is, scale first. Domesticate what you're doing. Do a trial run within your school. Where are you from? Which state are you from?
I'm from Oyo State.
So go to Oyo State. That's a rural area. Go and do something. And then come meet Okoyemi and say, I've done this, silver and gold, I don't have. And Okoyemi will give you the platform.
Yes!
I hope that answers the question.
Do you have anything to add?
Yes, just to add a little. So you did mention POC, and on the same accord, I'll say minimum viable product, right? Something already that shows workability and how it applies. I think that intervention is actually very significant. In the global AI race now, Africa is challenged, right? Because we're still dealing with literacy, technology penetration, so any kind of solution that addresses or that attempts to bridge that gap. We need AI to start to speak Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, all the languages, right? We need to get there. Like, we cannot afford to be left behind on that global conversation. So maybe, and I think these are potential areas for you to go to, and interesting conversation as well. But I would say start small, show proof of concept, show minimum viable product, let's see how it works, and of course, we can take that conversation from there. And of course, there are quite a number of institutions who are more than willing, and looking to hear voices like yours, so we can always add our dime in terms of, how to connect those dots. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We're going to take the last question. It should be from Emil, please. Emil, yes, we want to hear from Emil, yes. At the back there, please. Emil, at the back.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Oluwapolumi, and I'm a resident of Ibeju-Lekki. So, my question is centered around impact, right? So, collaborations, working together requires that people are receptive to whatever, like, you're pitching to them, especially when it's a local context. So, for instance, I just finished a project on urbanization in Ibeju-Lekki and how indigenous knowledge systems are marginalized, proven by other scholars. And this is like a call for, a change. Now, pilot study, going into like little communities here within Ibeju-Lekki, try to brainstorm with the locals and see how can we work together. You find out that they're not even interested, they're cool being marginalized. How do you break through? Like, what are the magic things you say? Like, sometimes these people don't even care if you say, please, excuse me, sorry, thank you. Like, how do we do this together?
Who wants to take that question?
What's it called? Exclusive.
I honestly do not really want to speak because I haven't walked in your shoes. But like, I can still relate from an angle. For example, if you're doing an entertainment show, there are certain ways you should look if you're, presenting on such shows. So I'm just going to speak from like a generic POV. Relatability might also help. At times, if you go there too glammed up, they're like, what do you have to offer?
or they're only looking for the money that you want to give them. And when you now say, oh, it's not as if you want to give you money. They want to send you away. So I don't know if there's a way to, maybe come down to their level, have conversations about, and maybe you could also watch them. At times, if, for example, now when they want to bomb all those places in the US, in those movies, they would have been watching them 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. They'll be watching their routine, studying them before the main man now even goes there to go and bomb the place. So maybe you could also from the outside watch and see what goes on in the inside. So it's easier to now penetrate and you understand their routine better. You know the kind of conversations they have. You know the kind of things maybe they want to hear. For example, if you're seeing me and you say, oh, Tomike, I like your outfit. I'm like, okay, what do you have to say? Because you made my head swell. I'm like, oh yeah, speak to me. But if I'm just walking, hey, careful, I'm like, all right. Give me fast, I give you both. So for me, that's really the only thing I probably need to add to that. So over to you, man. Over to you, sir.
Right. Yeah, so I think Tomike has said it already. Community mapping, really. You need to understand the context, know how to penetrate. Or you might even just be that you're not the best person. Somebody in your team might just be better. That's true. No, I don't mean that in any negative way. You need to do your SWOT, know where your strengths are. Just identify somebody might just be better in your team at reaching out to them, right? I mean, that would be all our answer to that.
Or you can even maybe make friends with one of them, maybe the one that is maybe like looking like your age mate, your guy, and you find a topic that people can bond with, and you don't hand over the assignment to him. He doesn't even know that you are using it, but you know the essence of that friendship at the end of the day. That is the one that will carry the message across to them.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so I'll quickly share some things I've picked from this panel. And I'm sure a lot of you have taken quite a lot of things. One of the things I am taking home is substance over spotlight. Yes. Think global, implement local. Your pain drives your purpose. Now, I'm going to go around my panel and I'm just going to give them 30 seconds to just give us their final words for tonight's session. We can start with you, Sam.
Okay. Permit me to say this, I'm a Christian. There are things that eyes have not seen. There are things that ears have not heard. So don't think that all that needs to be done has been done. There are still 7 billion people. There's massive opportunity. 200 million Nigerians. Massive opportunity. But start with your purpose. Narrow down. You can't be jack of all trade, master of none. Don't be in a hurry. Follow the process. And then when the spotlight comes, have your way. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. I would say that, when it comes to destiny, it can only be delayed, it can't be denied, right? So just connecting with my brother earlier, and for us, some of us, if we had the opportunity to be in school, so I've been gathered here like Pan Atlantic University and decided to give you this opportunity, maybe we would have moved further than we have moved now, right? So in essence, what I'm trying to say is that you need to be every opportunity to get to really find your voice, right? It's good to have a degree. At most, you live here. Your parents are happy, you graduate first class at the very best. But that first class might not be your destiny, right? So I would say that as you go through this process of Pan Atlantic University, your degree, find yourself, find your calling. What exactly are you passionate about, or what are you angry about? That can even be the actual trigger. What annoys you the most, right? In society, in life, that might be where your actual calling is. So the earlier you find that, the better for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And finally, my lovely sister.
Thank you. I would say choose peace over pressure. The pressure is much. There's so much pressure out there. But choose your peace of mind over societal pressure, because nothing should steal your peace and nothing should steal your joy. And I would also say choose authenticity over applause. The same people that are clapping for you today will be the first people to criticize you when you go wrong. So if you're doing everything just to get their applauses, you're on the wrong track. So choose authenticity, remain yourself regardless of everything that comes your way. Choose authenticity over applause. Thank you very much.
Please celebrate the panelists for tonight's session. Please, a round of applause for the Vice Chancellor of Pan Atlantic University.
Thank you. I think the panel, please. I think the panel is more deserving of that applause than I am. And I was sorry to have missed most of the panel session, but from what it is that I heard, I think that, it's been brilliant. But I would just like to thank all of you for coming in the first instance. But special thanks goes to Chinasa from the Mind to Mind initiative. I met Chinasa a couple of years ago when she approached me to come and be a speaker at one of her events. And when she came, she told me the story. And I think I just want to connect it to what it is that I've heard, some of what I've heard today. And also what their theme is about, or what their vision is about, that change begins in the mind. Chinasa had in mind her vision of who she wanted to be, how she wanted to impact life, and I have seen her follow that tenaciously. And so when she came to the university to ask us to partner with her, it was easy for us to agree to do that because her values resonate with our values. And indeed, what she's trying to do and instilling in the youth is what it is that we're trying to do. To instill people of character in society that will go on to transform society. But the extra that she's bringing, which I think that we've gotten from this panel today, is really, if you can think it, if you can dream it, you can make it happen. And I just want to add 2 words, just sort of piggybacking on some of the things that you said, and the questions that were asked. Just 2 things that I want to say. The first is that I was happy to hear, some of the questions and also interacting with some people just as I was walking in about the ideas that we have. There's no lack of ideas that we're having. But for us to make a success, I think we need to keep in mind what problem are we trying to solve with the ideas that we have. So if we begin from a solution perspective and say you can have a brilliant idea, but you may not be able to make much impact, somebody asks a question about how do you get people to listen to what it is that you're saying, there must be an alignment. You must be bringing something that matters to the people. A solution, a better life, something that they can dream about and therefore you can connect with them. The second, and I'm delighted that it has come through here, is that the knowledge that we're getting from Pan Atlantic University, I'm happy that we're thinking about the things that we're doing outside, because that knowledge should be used not only for us, but also for ways that can bring progress to the society. So with that said, I would just like to thank the wonderful speakers, Chinasa and the Mind to Mind initiative, and all the people that have contributed. Special thanks to the Students' Council, led by the President and the Executive, and Students Affairs for bringing this together. So I wish you the very best as we embark on this journey. And remember, change begins in your mind. If you can dream it, you can make it happen.
For Ms. Tomika, can we have Ms. Tomika? It's an award of appreciation. For Mr. Fayemi.